Supergirl Annual number 2, Robert Venditti writing with Laura
This
Braga
guy.
on the art.
Yeah, so Connor was like, yeah, the only time I didn't read Flash was under Venditti. I used to have a big problem with Venditti. However, since then, since Rebirth, I think he's become one of my consistently favored.
No, I agree.
writers.
He's not a top tier writer, but he's become pretty
No.
dependable. He's kind of
Yeah,
he's kind of like
he's
Abnett.
Abnett-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets
well,
it.
I mean, this book opens with Supergirl playing hockey on Krypton, so I feel like Matt's...
Matt might be giving this book of the week.
Yeah, I feel like
I can predict his panel.
Yeah, there's going to be some... there's in particular, there's a panel early on where she actually tackles someone.
Yeah.
The only difference between this and regular ice hockey is that they've got it's like a laser disc thing that they're hitting.
She called it hoverball or something later in the book.
Yeah.
But this is hockey, and so she goes. She's playing. So she's on Argo City. She's playing for what appears to be the national championships against Kryptonopolis.
For her age range, because she's still like 13 or whatever. Yeah.
High school. Yeah. I'm gonna say this is high school level, and she basically goes to make a shot, has a turnover, comes back, open ice, checks the dude out of his pants, and scores the winning goal to put him up 4-3.
I read this, and I have no idea what Matt just said. So
I followed it. Don't worry.
Thanks.
So luckily, Argo's team, which Supergirl's in, is red, blue, and yellow in colors. Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah,
and just
weird,
right? Mighty convenient.
So, whereas the other team, the Kryptonopolis team, is in Lex Luthor colors, which is green, purple, and a bit orange.
Right.
But there's a Zod on the other team, which is Drew Zod's nephew. So it's kind of like akin to her being the niece of Jor-El. There's a nephew of, and it is a love interest. He's this secret boyfriend that she can't tell her parents about because her parents,
Zods and Els.
hate the Zods because Zods and Els don't like each other. But this is actually the last day of Krypton. This is, because we keep hearing throughout that our dad Zor-El is going to go with Jor-El to a big meeting later on with the council to present them something. And it sounds like they obviously they're going to say that the planet's dying, but they weren't expected to happen this quickly because it seems a bit more rushed than they were expecting. But so the issue is largely about young Kara. She has these little moments where she kind of sees something freaky because it is tying into the Secret Six stuff, where all of this is basically what happens in Kara's head the moment she got infected. Is essentially how I read it.
She's basically reliving her last great day.
Yeah.
Right.
On Krypton.
And she helps win the national, the high school championships. And then she has to go babysit baby Clark.
Yep.
Which she might have to stay overnight, which she's kind of upset with because she had plans. And then she gets Qatar All, which I thought was hilarious. Once you remember Venditti's writing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Kryptonian Hawkman. He basically is, or not basically, he is her teacher and puts her in for a scholarship to deal with the historical sciences, which of course is not okay with Zor-El because she wants to go into applied. He wants her to go into applied sciences like herself or himself.
Yeah, but she's actually quite happy about the babysitting years though because her parents are going to be gone all night, which means she thinks she can have the boyfriend over for an extended period of time. So and there's those moments where she looks in the mirror and she sees like the Kiss version of herself with the big black makeup on her face.
Black metal.
Yeah, but
and as she's remembering all this too, like the doom's taking over. So you see like when she looks at people, they're like kind of rotting, like half their face, like they're deteriorating. Lets you know something weird's happening.
Yeah, it's the idea of the quick flashes are happening as she's going throughout the day that she's not quite where she thinks she is. But it goes on, and eventually it's happening where she's been sent away. She's been sent away from Krypton by her parents. Yeah. They explain that her and Cal will be on Earth hopefully, Row willing, all that nonsense. And ultimately the book ends with kind of Kara present day Kara in her head talking to the Batman Who Laughs, as he explains that, hey, you've never been loved here. You've never, like, on Earth, you've always been kind of separate. Now you can kind of be better than him, because he kind of says that he never intended for Supergirl to be the one that's infected.
Right.
But hey, like, why should it always be him that's in the limelight? It should be you who gets to take this. So yeah, it's basically just him kind of seducing her. And can I just say again how much I like her outfit, her evil outfit? I actually really like how it looks. The only thing I don't get is why she has elf ears. That part confuses me.
That's art here.
Yeah, that part's weird, because I think the art in this is actually quite good.
Yep.
Pretty much. I think Braga's a very good artist and fits.
It reminded me of Maguire a little bit. Like, it's got the thick lines.
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of bubbly. Like,
it feels very suitable for teenage Kara. It feels very suitable for that type of setting. It's not quite Joel Jones, but it feels like that you could have easily swapped this artist into being Super, and it would have worked well for that story. So she kind of, like, when she finally sort of wakes up from, like, being convinced with the Batman Who Laughs, she's, like, standing with the Secret Six in the fortress, and it's kind of like it ties in again to where we were in that Superman and Supergirl issue. So I mean, this issue is completely not irrelevant, but it's completely unnecessary. You don't need to read this, but I think it's a solidly well written story for what it is. If you do want the extra bit of insight.
Yeah, and I got Kara playing hockey.
Yes, you did.
So this is great. I like to imagine that she's a power forward, because that hit that she lays. So it's really cool.
I was actually wrong. There's a few more pages after that, but it's not really anything else. It's just her confronting Superman and saying something.
But basically telling he's like, we need to get you help. She goes, what do you mean get help? This is exactly who I've always been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I enjoyed it. But like you said, it's you don't need to read this. This is basically her one shot, right? Like we've had for the Scarab and King Shazam, and
actually, come to think of it, like, it feels like why isn't this just the Infected Supergirl issue 1?
Yeah, because they didn't have to. They had the the annual.
Because somehow more people will read a Supergirl annual of an ongoing run than a random one shot.
Right. And this plays off of the last issue of Supergirl, more so than those other ones did, because Hawkman didn't get his. His was just the issue, the last, the Sky Tyrant stuff.
Yeah.
So it plays in with that too. And no, Venditti's really good at this. I feel like Connor brought up, like Abnett is.
To be fair, I think it's just a case of ongoing titles. Like Shazam technically has an ongoing title, but given all the delays and such that were going on in the scheduling.
But does that matter though for an annual? Like, it's going to be completely standalone.
I would say yes, in the sense that it looks bad for the optics of, hey, we're pushing back issue 7 again, but here's an annual. I think it looks bad in that regard, and Blue Beetle doesn't have an ongoing book, so that kind of explains that one.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this is perfectly fine. I think if you want a decent kind of teenage Supergirl story of before she leaves Krypton, I think you're going to get a nice little issue. Is it worth spending the $5 on it? I don't know. It's debatable. It's
if you're already reading Supergirl and you're collecting,
sure.
Yes. If you're just reading to read, I would save the money, get it on a sale. Unless you have the completionist mindset.
Yeah, the same argument goes for if you're planning on reading and buying all of the, Infected and, that story of stuff, that event, and you want this as part of that lead-in, then you'd probably want it for that reason.
Yeah. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than a lot of the other things I've read so far this week. So, I would probably 7.5.
I'm going to go with an 8. Mainly for the hockey. I got really excited, guys. I sat down to read this after I just watched a Golden Knights game.
Did you lose?
And yeah, right. And they went in a shootout, and I go to read this, and I'm like, oh man, the universe just keeps giving. So, oh yeah. Connor?
And read it. Did I?
You didn't read it.
I've not been reading the books.
He's
I
never
didn't
read
realize
Supergirl.
But I still figured because of the tie-in aspect.
Well, I didn't realize it. One, I didn't realize it was a tie-in until you started talking, and two, I haven't been reading the other tie-ins.
Gotcha.
Well, I tried Shazam, and that was terrible. And I was like, I don't want to read the rest of these.
Yeah, well,
so that probably wouldn't have made me positive about this. I mean, at least this one was vintage. So maybe if I'd known, I might.
I only read one of those Infected one-shots. This was much better than that one. I'll say that much.
Yes.
Oh, I believe you. I really do.